Hello, welcome back to Design Elements and Principles. New week. How's everybody doing? We are up to session 12. Getting out of there. Getting this 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. We're almost done. 3/4 of the way through after this week. Rocking it. Doing well. Doing good. All right. So, as always, we do our attendance. Check on what's going on. Read some items about graphic design. Which of the following is a raster-based program? Raster, pixels. Raster is Photoshop. InDesign is Vector. Adobe Illustrator is Vector. Figma is, I have no idea. Figma is a computer-based. No, but Photoshop is what we call a raster-based program. Kapow! Oh, we got to hit it first, but there you go. Make sure you do that for your attendance. We'll go over the movement lecture in a minute. We have a mid-session project review. Again, if you ever have questions about a project in advance of it being due, you send it there and I will look at it and I will give you updates. I will tell you how to improve it and how to make it an A+ piece of design work. That's awesome. All right. And then we will go over our Tuesday's assignments, which are the research and the project. All right, let's talk about some movement in design. Movement in graphic design. Here we are. Gonna pull over the old drawing board. Let's get zoomed in. Let's make sure, because as I always do, I start the work and then I realize that the pen's not mapped to the correct work area, even though it says it is. All right. Zoom in. All right. Let's do this hand tool. All right. So movement. We want to make the pieces maybe more exciting. We want to help the eye. We want to guide the person's eye from maybe one area to another area. That's what movement's about. In the design, it makes things more exciting. There's like a million ways you can do this too. So I mean, like that's what we're gonna go through when we talk about this. But like movement in design, just makes the piece more exciting. It's not to say that you need to do it in every piece, but it adds a little something. If you can, it's almost like static animation. It gets people more involved. Like it tricks people into thinking like, oh, hey, oh, you know, like, yeah, I feel that. I feel it. And when we feel it, we're more engaged. And when we're more engaged into the design, we have the viewer who's more engaged. And what's our main focus about being a graphic designer? Selling people stuff. And if we can keep them more engaged into what we're selling them, they'll remember more. And then they'll come back to it and they'll remember and they'll have this feeling like, you know, it doesn't take much. We're like, oh yeah, I like that. I'm going to go with it. You sold me. I bought it. You know, I'm going to buy it. So that's kind of what it comes down to. And what we're doing as designers is we're selling people stuff. That's what we do. So let's let's get that out. Lines and direction. I mean, lines just kind of always show us where to go, right? We have lines everywhere. Go on the streets, stay in your lines. Oh, that's way too thick. But which lane I am? Well, watch the dotted line. You know, so there's so many things out there that we use lines for to help us navigate what we want to do. But lines can do that in the design. You know, and it can be simple. I was just looking over at a piece. Like if you have something and there's something like this, 2 lines going up, your eye starts here and goes here. You know, like it's directional. You could, if you had a piece, and I think I have a piece over there, and something's like flowing through it, like a river, you're going to start, and our eye just naturally starts at the top, and it's going to be like, oh, I'm going to watch that. And I'm going to follow that line where it goes. That's why we use them everywhere. Follow the line. Follow the lines on the ground. You know, how should I get there? There's some red lines on the ground. Just follow those lines. The lines lead us. we are doing the same when we do graphic design, even with simple pieces. I just did this on a piece where I had a title and I put a line at the bottom, and then I had another title, and I put a line below, and another title, and put a line. But and it just, what it did is just like help to guide the eye through the piece. And then very simple. It wasn't like arrows. It wasn't anything obvious. It was just like a little design decorative piece that matched the font. So that's what we do when we talk about lines and direction and how that works for us. Repetition and pattern. Repetition. Say in pattern. I mean, it's so easy. If I have a piece, and if I have a dot here, and I have a dot here, and I have a dot here, and I have a dot here, you know, like, what do we do? It's almost like stepping stones that you'd be like, what? Oh, what's here? Oh, what's here? Oh, what's here? Oh, what's here? And so all this is a repeating, and it's a pattern. And so because it's repeating, we want to see, like, where's the next one in line? I notice there's a dot, and I notice there's another one. Where should, I'll go to this one now. Now I'll go to this one. And then maybe there's a little piece of information attached to each one, which then the people end up reading. So that's repetition. And for a pattern, the way pattern, oh my God, pattern is just like, you could just have this. And right there, we're adding a dramatic movement across the page with a line pattern. And the patterns can be pretty crazy. You can get, I'm just doing quick little things here, but they can get crazy depending on what you want to do and how you want the pattern. I'm working on a piece right now. Oh, I changed it. I did change my pattern, but I was going to do a pattern, and I still have a pattern. I have these circles in the background, and I made them even. But what I was going to do is I was going to make the circles get smaller, smaller, and smaller. And then I was going to repeat that, because I wanted this idea of cascading down, like they were all kind of cascading down, but it wasn't important. So I did it very lightly in the background. And actually what I did is I changed it because I didn't want that motion. I didn't want people to feel that motion. And so I just made a pattern like this and then offset it and just filled the page in the background with an icon, with a very like iconic piece that spoke to what the piece I was developing went to. So patterns, lines, or patterns and repetition. Color gradients, beautiful color gradients. Can't really do those in here. But color gradient, if you have something, and I go from this color, and I go on this side, and I do this color, that's a gradient. And you can use that gradient to move people from one side to another, or from the top to the bottom, or from a corner to a corner. So there is that ability to use it as we need, and have that gradient not even just be a beautiful transition of color when used correctly. Gradients are sometimes not used correctly. Let me just say, color gradients should just be cautiously used, not just used because, holy cow, I can put a gradient on everything. Rainbow gradients, everybody loves it. First thing they throw at you, they're like, I did a rainbow gradient. Isn't that pretty? And you're like, yeah, but can you get rid of it? It's too much. Calm, focused gradients that work with the entire piece. That's what we're talking about. Typography and text flow. Well, this is easy because what do? I'll keep it orange. We read from, in our community, in our Western world, we read from top left, and we go left to right. So we go this way as we cycle down. That is how we read. That is how we're taught how to read. That is how, for hundreds of years we have read. And so it's ingrained that once we start reading in our Western society, that it's top, over, and then down. So when we set up typography, if I have my type set up out here further, that T, this C, catches your eye first. So you're going to read this first. You're going to read this first. And then what's my next inclination is to go down and to the left again, and then start again. Yeah, just delete out. So that's how typography and text flow works. That's text flow. Now we can change that. Every once in a while, I'll typeset sideways like this. I just did it this week. But I always start from the left and down. And then I put my text here. I don't ever, in our society, have, okay, I can't really say don't ever. I very rarely put the most important stuff, you know, on the right bottom, because then you have to search for it unless you use some directional item to get to the person to see it. So text flow, as we would say normally use it, will guide a person around. Implied motion. Do I need to say more? Just look over here. All in life, most animate objects, natural objects that can move, right, have an implied direction. Here, they drew a fish. The implied motion is this way. We draw a bug. With too many legs. The implied motion is this way. The eye is the implied motion. And that works really well. What is it? or we can have, you know, a car. This is a really bad one because I was like, a car actually has a face on it too. But then what do? Implied motion. For some reason, that lines behind it implies motion in a direction of the item. But we can do it with anything. Really, it's just if I have a dot and a dot, and they get closer and closer and closer and closer and closer and closer. Like we get this idea like, oh, it started slow and it started moving fast. They're just circles, but we can imply that with people. We have that ability as designers. And that implied motion then, again, allows us to direct people's eyes. And you're going to see a lot of that beautiful stuff over there. Hierarchy. So hierarchy, again, is when we design and when we have a message for somebody, because that's what we're designing. We're designing messages to give the people. Not every part of the message is as important as the other parts. Here, this is important. This is secondary to it. Why is this more important? Because it's the lead-in. I want you to read that first. If I had this small and it just said hierarchy in focal points, you kind of read this and be like, oh, wait, what? And then you'd be like, oh, wait, what does that thing say? Oh, it says hierarchy and focal point. Well, because I have it big and a little bit more bold, we read this first. And then I know, hey, this lower part is the information about this part up here. So I'm using hierarchy in my design setup. I do it with this down here. You know, here's the big block. This is a summary. I also finish with a summary. And I have all the text broken out into hierarchical points. And what I didn't do is I didn't add pictures into it. You have text and information here, and then I have my pictures over here. What's more important? Reading about this rather than just looking at pictures and being like, I don't know what the pictures mean. So we read about it and we can see like, oh, this goes to this goes to here, color grade, I don't really have in there, typography flow, like, so they're all there and they're all here to work. And that's how, we work with hierarchical space. All right. Use of space. How do we distribute elements? And I just did it up here. When I drew those circles. One circle. Right? The spacing gives us the implied movement. So it's the use of space. How do I have, if I have, and we're going to see this in a bunch. Like it's more crowded over here and it's less crowded over here. We have this sense of movement. We go toward that sense of movement, and the use of space really works with that. And I think with that being said, we should look because it's harder to describe, and there's some great ones. So movement is crucial for engaging the viewer and conveying a sense of energy and narrative. And that's a great way to put it, narrative. We want to tell a story. Storytelling, it's the other way to get people's attention. If I could tell a story within a piece, they're going to be more likely to be engaged with that piece. This is an amazing little piece. Better life, better home, the earth. And it is the same fish, just duplicated, just repeated. Bigger to smaller, more intense, more intense, more intense. And then they start forming, the school of fish starts to form 2 to 3 bigger fish. And then these fish are moving. So there's the other one. Like, see how these guys, the applied motion here is coming from the grouping and their direction, right? Here, that movement is coming from the curve of the fish as they swim away. If you saw one of these static, it wouldn't look as movemental, is that a word? You like that? As this does. So that's what we're doing there. Let's move this over. Oh, I do this with this piece. All right. I just need to open up Photoshop real quick. All right. So look at, like, I love this little piece, and it's just typography, but the fact that it's on this, like, I don't know, that the 3045, it's like, I feel like thin is falling, like thick is going this way. And it's got so much motion, and it's just, everything is just twisted, just turned, right? Pretty cool. And it's just the way we read typography. We still can read it, but it's so much more fun than it is if it was normal. Now I'm going to take a screenshot of this file. All right. And now, there it is. And here it is normal. Not nearly as entertaining, is it? It's not it's just like, oh, okay, they just kind of stacked it, did that. But here on that 45, like, wow. Let's see if I can. Why are you yelling at me? Beep. I don't know if you guys can hear that. So you could see that difference there. This is far more engaging with the movement. And it's simply because we have those angled lines. Really cool. All right, let's check out this one. I love this piece here. I love it because of the repetition, kind of the pattern, everything that's going on. You're like, what do you mean? It's like one guy copied and pasted. Some things are reversed, like, okay, this leg is here, but all they did is just took this and reversed it for this guy. The arms are all back the same, and they just changed the colors and some of the hairdos. But it's so directional. It's so great. And it's flat. Like there's no gradients, there's no nothing. We're using line and we're using that directional idea. Here, our little faces. Look at they're arrows. What is this guy? He's not only looking at the winner, he's looking at the text. Right? Pretty great. Like, it's so simple, it's so clean, it's so pure, but yet it's so full of movement and energy. And then there's that secret, like little like guys looking at the text. How that's such a great little move. These are those little things that we think about when we design. How should I move the eye? I need people to see this, but we want to have a fun, graphic element to it. Well, let's turn the guy's head. He's sort of looking at the winner, but he's also looking at Team Olympique. That's my French for you. This piece is I love it. This is so simple, so easy, so fun. Like it's literally a road. And it's like the two color. And we get this sense of like speed. We get a sense of speed, of fun, of like excitement. And it's the yellow. They're smiling. They're smiling. And they're in this picture of just a car, right? An illustration of a car. But it's put on this plane. There's no gradient here. That's just a bad image of it. That's the lens flare. But it's just pure yellow with a white line. It's like, this is two color, we call it. This is a two color piece, black and yellow. The white is the paper, but there's so much energy. There's so much fun in it. And yet it's so simple. Sometimes the best pieces are the most simple pieces. And it tells a story. And it makes me want to be part of the story. I want an Austin 850. I want to be zooming around in this tiny car, like zipping around. It looks like a lot of fun. I've never seen this car. You get it, but that's how we engage people, telling them the story and making us want to be part of that story. Who's going to the festival? All these people. This is the person version of the fish version, right? All these people, they're going to the 13th festival, maybe that's the year of Malaga scene. I don't know. But this is it. And all these people are going to it. And this is that spatial one. Same design as this. Maybe, same designer. They're like, I know what, I saw this piece in a class for graphic design. I'm going to do the same exact thing here. There's a little bit more movement, a little bit more style going on. Not all of them are exactly the same, but they're darn near perfectly the same. But it's not needed. But then we have spacing. And as we get closer, we get more intense. And we feel that movement. So no matter where we are on the page, we always want to follow the people through that movement. Pretty fun work. I love it. I think it's a lot of fun. And when you can engage with that, it makes it even better. When you think about that in your design. Oh, guess what? You guys get to think about that in your designs this week. Oh. Let's see. Speaking of which, let's dig around. Movement research. Which program are we using today? Gotta get our chops, right? Figuring out each program, just doing little simple things. We know how to do it. We've done it. InDesign. Pop that baby open. Let's move this over so I can read my own instructions. This is a piece that another student did. So we go to new file. And I'm going to go to, I got one, 16 by 9, but I need to check everything. I only want one page. For the people, and I try to call it out, make sure facing pages is not clicked when you start these. It makes it harder to understand. When you're just doing a single, or if you're doing, even if you're doing 2 pages and you want an intro and then you want the 3 pages, make sure facing pages isn't clicked. Facing pages is for a book. And you're not creating a book. You're not creating multiple pages in which they need to like close together. That's what that's for. And it's such a little thing, but it will kind of mess you up. It messes me up every day. If I open it and it's clicked from a different project, because sometimes it saves over, I'm moving too quick, I will stop everything, close it, delete it, and reopen it just to not have facing pages when I don't need them. So make sure you kind of make sure that's off. And there's a reason for that. You know, I'm telling you the reasons. You're not just like, oh, just some dumb thing. Like there's a reason. Like I want this to be easy on you. All right. We have a 1/2 inch of margin, a 1/2 inch of bleed. Margins are used. That's your safe space. Don't put stuff beyond the margin. Use that margin as a guide to help you design. And then the bleed again. The bleed is extra information beyond the artboard in which we need in case we're getting this printed. Because contrary to what you know, when you get something printed at a printer, they don't print it on the page, size page that you want it. They print it on a larger sheet of paper with the bleed, and then they cut it out. And that's how you get color to every edge of the page. I do that every Tuesday and Thursday here at MATC. When I print out a student's work and I place it on the wall, I print it with bleed. And then when I cut it out with a knife, there's no white showing anymore. Even if I cut it out wrong, there wouldn't be any white because I have bleed. So there's a reason for that. And we talked about that in 4 weeks ago. No, it was longer than 4 weeks ago because it was spring break when we talked about the layout. So there you go. And so that's what we're going to, now we're going to hit create. Now the next thing to do is let's put on rulers and let's find the center of our piece. What does that do for us? Well, anything I need to center, I know where the exact center is. Why guess? The computer does it for you. You just have to click and drag 2 lines down, and then we know where the center is, right? And then we make our little labels. Title. Why are we doing this? We need to stay organized. Well, I don't need to stay organized. Think of a messy place. How long does it take you to find something in a messy place? How long does it take you to find something in a clean place? Why does it matter? Timelines. Things are due at a certain time. If I waste my entire time with everything on one layer and it's getting lost and I'm locking and unlocking and doing, and I can just go over here and be like, ding, ding. I'll work in the background, ding, ding. It makes it quicker and easier. So then, we put in our background. I would put in a background. And when I put in the background, I'm going to go all the way to the edges. I'm going to do a single sheet for this one. And we pick our color. What do I always pick? Let's do, I want orangey. Oh, that was kind of nice. All right, we'll leave it at that. And then the other one is, again, cleaning up. I don't need a black stroke on it. I'm going to take that off. So you're like, but it doesn't show. Why should I take it off? Because sometimes, even though it doesn't show, if the printer gets it, if somebody else gets it, and they're like, we noticed that there's black. How do you want to? And you're like, there's no black on it. Well, they're like, no, there is. How do you want us to handle the black? And you're like, there's no black. They're like, no, there's black stroke. And they're like, oh, okay, can you take that off? And then you have to pay for that. Weird things, hey? Titles we'll put in last. Let's get some images real quick. Movement. So we're going to do our standard looking. Let's go. Let's spell it right. I'm going to go to images. I'm going to go to tools. I'm going to go to size, and I'm going to hit large. Let's look for, oh, I don't know if this is movement. It's pattern and repetition. Kind of like that. Look at this. Now there's some movement. Though this isn't the whole book. So now that's what I'm talking about, right? Right? So make sure you don't find the cutoff one. I think part of that is I see people every once in a while, they may throw that one. I'm like, the book's cut off. Why are you using the cutoff book? This isn't how it should look. You should always dig deeper, right? Dig deeper. That's all I'm talking about. So I'm just gonna save image as, and this is book. Oh, I didn't look where it saved it. And then we want album covers. Love this one. Look at that. Look at that right there. Oh, it's small. I see this one a lot, not from you students. And I'm always like, oh, I should do it, but I just hate the black on the eye. Like, I wish they wouldn't have used a black line. And we need some movement. Tell you what's not moving is this one. This one, she's so static. Here's one. That's pretty cool. Psychedelic album. I think this is somebody else's. No, Electra. That's got movement all over it. Save. And then oh, God darn it. No. Reject. Tools, size, large. Look at this. It's blurry, even though it says it's not. I think I've done this one. Oh, God. That hair. Let's do it. Save. And then we go. And then, so I'm on images here, went back, and I go to file, place. One, file, place. I didn't check. One of them, the album cover. Oh, they're all JPEGs. Great. Oops. So what I did there is I still had this image activated, and so it puts the new image into that one. But all you have to do is hit undo, and it kind of corrects everything. It's pretty sweet. And then what I do here is if I grab those two, and I just go up here, I'm going to go to 25 just to make them smaller for now. And then I'm going to make a decision. And my decision is they all should be the same height. And so I'm going to take that, and I'm going to take that free transform tool, or E, and I'm going to make them all the same height now. Oh, you know what you can do? Oh, I'm just going to do it. And I'm going to do this one, and I'm going to grab all three, and I'm going to make sure they're all at the same height. And then I'm going to grab nuggets, and I'm going to make this big. All right. And then I'm going to grab all three, and I'm going to do free transform tool. And I'm going to go, and every time I do this, I am holding down shift. You should never resize, rechange, or do anything without holding down shift. In fact, your finger should be super glued to the shift key. And then I'm going to get shift. And then I'm going to do my title. Now I did something, and I hope it stayed. I did. It worked. I'm going to do movement. Right? And now what I did is I made that too big too soon. And I'm going to make it that size, and I'm going to use the free transform tool again. It's one of the best tools in InDesign. And then I'm going to, now I can make the word bigger. So I go back to the T tool, and all I have to do is do this. Went too big, and then I go back one. I kind of want it white. All right. And then I can just copy and paste that, or I can just pull it down. And it's going to be far too big for book cover, right? All right. And then make it smaller. Go to the type tool. Let's make it bigger. And then I'm going to do, now a lot of people just leave this sloppy. Bring it in. Make it the size that you want. Don't be sloppy. Talking about slop. I got to reduce the posters just to crop that little bit off of the poster. And so I'm having a line up, and then this is movie poster. Whoa, I want all caps. And album. There you go. Can be simple. Can be simple once in a while. Let's see what it looks like in the preview. It is what it is. There's a little bit of lineup we can fix here. Oh, it is actually correct. But yeah, this has that little bit. So if I come up there, then this has to come up, right, to match. And then we can have this come up. I'm cropping off 3 pixels. It's not going to matter. But then that way they're all like perfect. So there you go. All right. Let's look at the project. This one I'm going to let you go on, though. This one, let you do it. All right, movement. Create 6 compositions. 2 using line, 2 using pattern, and 2 using typography to define movement in the design. Now we saw the typography movement, right? Go refer back to the lecture earlier. The line. That's anything is possible, right? Make sure you work on your artwork layer too. So line. You can create lines so many different ways. You can create lines with squares. You can create lines with the pen tool. You can create lines with the brush tool, or even better, the blob brush tool. Oh, see, yeah. And then all it took was that. Like, what if you did this? Like they're like, as simple as that is, there's implied movement. And you're like, oh, it's radiating, you know? Pattern. I talked about this. Like, what if you had, started big and then, oops. And then went smaller and smaller and smaller. It keeps grabbing those like switch points. And then I'm going to use this and I'm going to center them. Why isn't it centering them? And then I'm going to distribute them evenly. This one needs to be smaller. I have that one touch the edge too. Let's redistribute evenly. And then if I just copy and paste that across. I do want that gap. That's a pattern and it's showing movement. Kind of fun. So, and like I said, the typography one, look at that piece from the example from this. You don't have to do that much, but that shows movement in typography. So there you go. Again, if you have any questions, comments, concerns about anything, let me know. I'm around. Use that midweek project review. Send me a message. Do whatever you got to do. I'm here to answer your questions. Thursday, we will go over the poster project, computer rough draft, and then you can read the book as well. So that is it for me for today. Feel free to reach out. Make sure you register for classes. If you have questions about registering for your classes, let me know. I can help answer them. And yeah, there we go. Take care, and I'll talk to you. If I don't talk to you on discussion boards, I'll talk to you Thursday. All right, take care. Bye-bye.